Basically, I'm here to tell my story of why I believe in God, why I'm so heavy on trying to learn more about Him, and why, just why I'm a Christian. Now, for those who are going to think that I'm foaming at the mouth, that I'm saying farces just to get attention, you can leave now because this is going to be a no holds bar. I'm telling you right now, it's going to be a no holds bar type of topic. I'm going to be coming at all topics surrounding it. I'm going to be I'm, I'm basically going off. I'm be going off, and you can basically say your discretion is advised, because this is not for the weak. This is not for the faint of heart. This ain't this ain't for the weak of heart. And if you can't respect the shit I'm saying, then best be gone. I probably told y'all about this already. Forgive me if I forgot. You know, it was at one point that I did not know I was worshiping God, because I naturally grew up in a Christian family. And I was naturally Christian, but I didn't really know of what God was about. I would just say, "Oh, I love Jesus, I love God," without knowing why. And then, you know, you would think growing up in church, would have grasped it, but my mom, for reasons of personal family issues and drama, stopped going to church, and I didn't have a way to go to church. So, like, transgression and problems just started building up, toppling the previous one, and it was hard. When the hard times came, the financial troubles started growing, and like, I was going through a lot. Seeing my mom crying, not knowing and stressing of how was she going to provide for her kids for the next day and the next day after that and stuff like that. I was tired. I was tired of my father not being there. I grew a hatred for him. I really grew a disdain for my father because he wasn't there, and I didn't know. Again, I didn't know of God and His glory and His awesomeness. So I really had no one to go to, and like, something really bad went down, and I don't even remember it. And if I do, I probably shouldn't even say it. But like, I just lashed out in a bit of rage. I basically just said, "Fuck God." After dropping belief, well, dropping belief of God and stuff like that, and like, and losing obedience. Like, I went from that fit of rage. I grew disrespectful to my mother. We fell out big time. She actually put me out of the house for like a week, and you know, it really this stuff really cut me deep, because just because I look back at myself 4 months ago, and like, you really, just because things didn't go your way at that point in time, you really almost ended your life right then and there, because you cut God off because some things were happening to you. And now I look at myself now, and I'm glad I've came to the realizations that He's given me. And the realization He gave me was brutal. Brutal, but it was it was blunt. And some people learn different ways. Some people learn subtly. Some people learn hands on. But what I experienced was really frightening, and it all happened so fast. And like, now I have to backtrack. I probably should have inserted this a little earlier, but I found a way to stick it in there. Pause. But yeah, I'm gonna take this back. I'm gonna take this back to at least 2 years ago. Um, yeah, 2 years ago. Wait, no. What am I thinking? No, not 2 years ago. I'm take this back at least, yeah, 1 year ago. 1 year ago. In my life, I had looked to love for a void that I could fill, because my father wasn't there, and that was the love for so long that I seeked, and I never got. So, having a girlfriend was kind of everything because I had a shoulder to lean on. I had someone to tell me they love me. But you know how things are. People lie every day. People make promises that they can't live up to at the end of the day. But and like I was with this girl. Her name is Brianna, and we were together for like a year. From start to from start, it just felt so amazing. I really, and like up to 1 month ago, I really felt like I loved this girl. Was like she was the one, like she was the love of my life. But we got into a heated argument, got into a lot of fuss. I found out a lot of shit she was keeping from me, and like I just like you know I I just went into so much hatred, and you know my chest started heating up. I started crying. I was suicidal at the time, and like I was rushing for a knife, and I, I, I passed by the bathroom mirror, and what I, a glance and a glance of what I saw was just complete anger and evil, and a sign of deceit waiting for me, and like that was Lucifer. He had a control over me in that point in time. I had rings around my eyes, and what I saw in the other side wasn't me. Time, like, now I'm gonna recall to at least a year and a half later, where I was. It was in church. It was after church actually, and it was this preacher. There's something about him. The sermon that the performance. I'm not gonna say performance because what he did in that church that morning was awestruck, awestrucking and jaw dropping. Like, he really touched a lot of people that day. But like after that church service, I was called in to that pulpit where where the stand is and where everybody sits, in the choir and everything. And like he had my my grandmother and my mother asked for him to pray for me, and like he he did. He got me ready for it. I got on. He wanted me to close my eyes, and he wanted me to bow my head. So I did. I did everything the man told me to do. I bowed my head. I closed my eyes, and he just started speaking to me. He was basically calling on Satan. He said, "Lucifer, are you there?" He said it again, "Lucifer, are you there?" Louder that time, and what came over me was such a strange heat hitting my body when it wasn't me that replied yes. And like my my mother just started to break out in tears, and me still with my eyes closed and confused myself of what had just came upon me was Lucifer himself, and me grasping that was very scary. Another question. He asked another question. He said, how many of your workers are present?" And it replied, 12 or 12 or 15. I don't remember it that well, but it was one of those. And like it was so strange. And then he asked another question. He asked, "Why are you present in this young man?" He said, "Because he's powerful." And like I just shook when my lips were moving and saying that. Like I was like, "Whoa!" And then he said to open your eyes. And then when I opened my eyes, I could just feel this this heat, this tension, this evil feeling, this anger at my eyes and around, all swelling up in my face. And the man saw my eyes, the same rings that I around it that I saw in the mirror that time. And once all that was happening, it, the preacher laid his hand on my head. He started to rebuke the demons and Lucifer out of me. And like once he released his hand, all this heat, all this tension from my body was rising up up my neck and out into my face and through my eyes, and my tears, they just they just flowed and flowed. And like I was on that ground crying, and I got up and I hugged my mom, I hugged my auntie, I hugged my grandmother. Like I really feel like that was a wake up call for me. It was definitely a reality check.